everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here.
Yeah, and I'm Vin Diesel, mate.
So for the May 2020 one that got away, it's actually going to be a double feature, and it's actually a very special one for me because of the connection between the two movies, and that of course is the theme of family. If you've also noticed, I'm wearing my Funko Pop t-shirt which features the Fantastic Four, which also happens to be a family of superheroes. One of the few things that you are going to notice on my channel a lot is a lot of my videos are going to feature a lot of Funko Pop t-shirts because there's just something about them that has family and friends and happy times found within them. But in regards to the Fantastic Four, it actually has a interesting connection to one of the movies that we're going to be talking about today, and that's going to be the first of the two, and that is the known, but yet to many not so known independent film Fighting With My Family, which stars Florence Pugh, Nick Frost, and Lena Headey from Game of Thrones. So technically, Fantastic Four, they're fighting with their family, but they're fighting together on the forces of good. So this is the story of the famed female WWE star Paige and her beginnings of joining the WWE. She comes from a family of wrestling fanatics, even two that were former wrestlers in their independent league that they created by themselves. And this girl just is a fan of wrestling, but also loves doing it with her family. And her brother, particularly Zach, the two of them actually put together a wrestling training school for kids to stay off the streets and just have a good time and appreciate wrestling. And one day, they finally get their tape submitted to the WWE and they are given a call. And they find out that only one of them is going to be going to the WWE, and it of course is Paige. And the cool part is, not only do the two of them actually meet Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who also gives me one of the best performances in the film, but also the trainer of the WWE up-and-coming stars is played by Vince Vaughn, and I loved his performance in this movie. As a whole, this movie is fantastic. If you are a sports fan, you're gonna love it. You don't necessarily have to be a wrestling fan to really love this movie. It is a story about family, it is a story about being yourself, and it is a story about beating the odds. And Paige just does everything that she possibly can when it comes to being the best that she could be, to fitting in with her fellow trainees, but her story is just so uplifting and so moving, and what's so incredible is the story of what happens with her brother while she is going through the rigorous training, and she finds out that he is so depressed because of the fact that he didn't get to go on to the WWE training, and he really gets to the point where he doesn't even know how to live, but thanks to her motivation and the fact that her family is the most important thing to her, she really tries to make sure that not only does she fulfill her dream, that her family is proud of her and proud of themselves. This movie has got a lot of heart. This movie's got a lot of comedy. Lena Headey this is a performance I've been waiting to see from her, because when you think of her these days, you think of Cersei from Game of Thrones and you think of a stone cold bitch. This performance from her is being loving, fun mom. That is such a 360 for her in regards to her image on screen, and I loved it. And of course, when Nick Frost is on screen, I am all about him. Edgar Wright gave him to me along with Simon Pegg, and I just love the fact that that duo, even though they work beautifully together, seeing them drift on to doing their own individual projects is great too. But yeah, this movie is fun. It's also got a lot of nostalgia with a couple of throwback scenes and video clips from classic WWF, so you get to see all the big stars like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, and of course the Ultimate Warrior, which was one of my personal favorites, Stone Cold Steve Austin. So wrestling fans are gonna really eat this movie up. But this was such a great movie. I had such a good time with it. It's a movie that I would definitely want to see again, but it's not necessarily a movie that I would want to own on DVD. But it's fun. It's It's a fun, family-oriented film, not necessarily for young kids, but still a real good story about family, and I'm going to give it 3.5 stars out of 4. The next film that I'm going to talk about is one that a lot of people talked about, especially during awards time earlier this year. And that was The Farewell, starring Awkwafina. And I was really excited to see this movie because I had heard that so many people said that this was one of Awkwafina's greatest performances and that she got snubbed, along with a couple of other people that put this movie together, got snubbed at the Oscars as well. So let me just say that my expectations were high. Now, what I will say about this movie as a whole, I kind of was a little underwhelmed by it. I didn't get the fantastic movie that I thought that I was going to get from this movie, but there is a great deal of good things in this movie. Awkwafina's performance is dynamite. I love how she really showed me something different. I had been saying that Awkwafina needs to be in more movies because she is hilarious. She truly has great comedic timing. Her performance in Crazy Rich Asians, stellar. But in this movie, while you do get some funny moments from her character Billy, you get a great deal of raw and pure emotion from her. And that's what I loved so much about her performance in this film. I also love her character's rapport with her grandmother, even though she knows that bad things are on the horizon for her, and the fact that she can't even tell her, and the fact that her family is specifically trying to make sure that her grandmother does not know that what is wrong with her is there, and that it's extremely severe, and it's basically gonna just be death in the end. She is so upset that she can't tell her grandmother about it, but at the same time, she is just impressed by how her grandmother is just living in the moment and living every single day like she is gonna die tomorrow, even though she doesn't even realize that she could possibly die tomorrow. The whole rapport with her family is so interesting. It's very real. It's not comedic like My Big Fat Greek Wedding or Fighting with My Family. It really is one of the truest depictions of family that I've ever seen on film, and that's one of the strongest points about this movie, along with Awkwafina's performance. And the best part is what you get at the ending when you actually find out what happened to Billy's grandmother, and it's gonna really surprise you. Though the problem with this movie is, like I said, I felt that it was very underwhelming, and that's because there were a lot of points in the movie where I drifted. I found it just lagged a little too much. Not that I'm saying that the story was bad, the story was actually very good and very true, but I just wish that the pace could have been picked up a little bit more. But I will still say that The Farewell is a movie that you should see at least once. If you're an Awkwafina fan, you will be amazed. I think that she should have been nominated for the Oscar for Best Actress. Could she have won it? I'm not sure. Even though she did win the Golden Globe, that's great. But I really feel that this performance was a true breakthrough for her next to Crazy Rich Asians, and it just keeps me yelling from the rooftops, put Awkwafina in more movies, please. I haven't watched her new show, Nora from Queens, but I just like her. She is fun, she is dynamic, and she's talented, and we need her in movies. But I'm not going to see this movie again, and I'm not going to get this movie on DVD, but I will say it's a very true watch if you want to see something that really can hit home with you and really appreciate your family so much more. I'm going to give The Farewell 2.5 stars out of 4. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let me know what your thoughts on Fighting with My Family and The Farewell are. I'd love to talk to you about them, and I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.